Everybody, welcome to Bass Talk with Freak Bass. How you doing? Hope everybody's having a great week and everything is good with you all. We are back. We're back here. We're here every Wednesday night live at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Here, if you're watching at the Facebook page, it's facebook.com/freakbassmusic. Or if you're our new little headquarters, we hang out all the time at youtube.com. The Freak Bass channel. Hello to all you YouTube people. If you're at YouTube and you're digging what you're seeing tonight, of course, you know the routine. If you're digging it, give us the old thumbs up. That would be awesome. And of course, please subscribe to the channel. We've been growing a lot of the last month or so. It's really been very helpful. And thank you so much for everybody spreading the word about the channel. And of course, we're over at Twitch too. So we're kind of jumping around all kinds of platforms, and Twitch has been pretty awesome too. So, so for this week on Bass Talk, I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what we were talking about last week, creating funk bass lines. I got so much great feedback from it. So, and thank you for all the amazing comments. Please leave any comment in the comment section, and I will answer every one of them, no matter where you're at, no matter what platform you're on right now. And if you're, oh, by the way, if you're at Facebook, you hit the share button. That would be awesome, because that really helps get the show out to it, like sharing your feed. That gets out to a lot of people. It's really helpful too. So, so again, I wanted to piggyback off what we were talking last week, continue on with some funk bassline stuff. Got my Bootsy Collins shirt on for this week to kind of give a little extra zing. And yeah, so if you remember last week, my big thing we were talking about was just keeping with funk bass, related to funk bass lines, was trying to keep everything very sparse. It was not about being super busy. It was not trying to take, it was about, you know, a big thing I talked about in last week's, which I will, by the way, I'll link it. If you're watching on YouTube, I will link, I guess we'll call it part 1 of how to create funk bass lines. I'll link that here in the description of the show, so you can check that one if you haven't seen that one yet either. I think you'll dig that too as well. But it was about keeping sparse. It was about respecting the space. So much with I mean, any music, not just funk, but specifically funk, which is what we're here talking about. If you make the space part of the groove, you know, that space is such, you know, as a part of what you play, it really makes everything come together in a really good way. So yeah, that last week was all about space. Now this week, I tried to kind of fill in the space a little bit. I didn't want to get too busy. And, you know, I'll do some other videos where I'll just get crazy busy, and we'll just get, you know, nutty on the bass, which I'm all about that too as well. But I wanted to kind of like just get a little bit like in those in-between spaces, you know, almost like where last week we were kind of almost thinking like more like a drummer. Maybe this week, maybe thinking more almost like a clavinet keyboard player, where, you know, they've got the groove, you name the key, and you're like, almost like think of like, you know, Superstition, or, you know, by Stevie Wonder, that kind of thing. But I still want to keep it simple. It's not about, you know, making it rocket science. It's about keeping it simple. And no matter if you're playing a million notes or just a few notes, you're keeping it within the groove. So this week I chose, I thought, a good key for us to kind of mess around in would be F sharp. Because the nice thing about F sharp, especially if you're playing a 4-string, you have that pickup note you can add in of the open E to that F sharp. Now, and you know, depending on where you're at on the scale of music theory stuff, I'm going to talk about this, and hopefully you'll understand what I talk about. If not, we can talk about that too. But the nice thing about the E is the minor seventh to the F sharp if we're in that key. So you have that minor seventh coming back to that root note of F sharp. The other thing, if you notice about this bass line, which I really highly advise if you're into writing funk bass lines, is to really explore the Dorian scale. Okay, the Dorian scale is, the Dorian mode, excuse me, it's basically a scale. The Dorian mode, it's a minor scale with a natural or raised six. I guess a natural six. So you have, if in the case we're in F sharp, so I'll show you there. So, you know, a normal F sharp minor scale would be this, which is F sharp, G sharp A, B, C sharp D, E, F sharp. But there, as opposed to having the D in there, we're going to have the D sharp in there, which is like the natural six within the, within the F, like an F sharp major scale. So just so you don't get caught up on all those crazy words I was saying there a second ago, if you want to be just like straight up, what are the frets here? But freak bass, what are you playing? Well, here's what I'm playing. I'm playing on my E string, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 1st fret, 2nd fret, 4th fret. Okay. That is the Dorian mode and or scale. And that is a great mode for creating our collection of notes for writing funk bass lines, because having that raised six in there, natural six, it's got that real, I mean, you hear it in a lot of, obviously, you know, we want the funk, you know. There you go, right there. And there's a million, you know, from the Meters to Parliament to the Red Hot Chili Peppers to, doesn't matter what era of funk, that raised six is a really magical note. And I talk about the Dorian mode again in another video too as well. So, but getting to what I'm doing, let's just play this one more time here real quick. So let me just break down what I'm playing. And you know, a good thing might be to do is maybe I'll show you literally what I'm playing, and then you can, you know, maybe figure it out on your own, play along with it, and then kind of turn it into your own thing, which I think is always the cool way to go. And of course, you can do that finger style too. So all I'm doing, again, I'm thinking more like a clavinet player this week, kind of filling in those gaps a little bit more than I did last week. So very simple. I'm just F sharp to the octave, back into the 4th fret on the D. Very effective tool. If you're like, oh, I don't know what notes to use, well, just use the octave. It always comes in handy. And then we have there's that Dorian mode. We got that D sharp to the E, you know, or E flat. I think it's probably, you probably, in this key, you probably call it a D sharp, but in my mind, it's an E flat. Then we're going up to this high A up here, which again is just a minor third of the F sharp. It's not a lot of, you know, it's not a lot of notes. It's just I'm playing them in different octaves sometimes. And then we go straight to that E, which I was talking about earlier in tonight's video, back to the F sharp. It's a very, very little simple pattern. But when you learn what I'm showing you, or you create your own pattern, funk bass line, try to play it over and over and over and over again. Record it ideally, whether it be on your, it doesn't have to be with some high-tech recording equipment, but just record it even on your phone. And just listen to yourself, and always listen to the first 10 seconds, and then, you know, play it for like a minute. Listen to the first 10 seconds, then listen to like the last 10 seconds. And the first 10 seconds and the last 10 seconds should be in the basic ballpark together in terms of tone, execution. Like, you don't want to come real strong out of the gate, and then it gets later, you're like, you know, you're not making a little bit more mistakes, or just your groove's not quite as strong. You want to be able to play this, or whether you're doing this style, whatever style you play with your right hand, finger style or thumb style, either one's fine. And each has its own little quality to it, as you could hear. But you want to, it's the repetition. Again, you know, I know I mentioned clavinet, but again, we always go back to, what do we go back? Or a drummer that plays notes. And if you think about that thing, a drummer will play doom, doom, ta, do, do, ka, do, do, ka, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes long without fluctuating at all. And that's where you want to be with your bass line. It's a beat. You're playing a beat, but your beat is on that bass line, okay? But we're not using a whole lot of notes in that beat, you know? It's a very simple, you know, we've got a F sharp, low F sharp, high F sharp, an A, right, which is just the minor third of F sharp, and then our little magic note, which is that D sharp or E flat to E. Like that, all the way across. And then you've got your magic sauce for your magical funk bass line. So, you know, again, maybe take a, like last week's lesson, take just a few notes, 1, 2, 3, maybe a couple more, 3 or 4 notes, and try to, you know, think if, like, this is the beat, you know, whatever tempo you have. This is at 100 beats per minute, by the way, the one I'm playing at right now. And you know, that's kind of what I do, is I hear like a little beat in my head first. You know, I'm hearing this thing, this beat, and then ba 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 bum ba 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 ba, and then kind of mimic that with notes on my bass depending on what key we're in. And then you have, there's your formula, your little funk formula there here too. So and this guy started that whole, well, he was one of the founders of that funk formula. So if you don't, I'm sure everybody, almost 99% of the people watching this video, if it's a funk video, you know who Bootsy is. So just definitely go and check him out too as well. You'll hear so many of his bass lines. Yeah, they're really cool and they're really intricate, but they're also, it's the simplicity of them and really the repetition of them, especially a lot of the stuff he did with the James Brown stuff too. So that's it. So I hope that'll kind of get you on that next train track on learning funk bass lines. Again, leave a comment down below. I will answer every one of these, and anything you want me to cover too, please you know, let me know about that too as well. I love getting comments and feedback from everybody. So let's play it out one more time.